Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Boone here from EWPRO. Getting straight into the weekly outlook as usual. Starting with the DXY. Now we have this A, B, C. How I've got it labelled here. Now it's getting a little bit more difficult. It may become a larger structure, a corrective structure, like we get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 as a larger flat before we get the A, B, C. So this may turn more complex. That's my first scenario. My second scenario is this does go up and break that top. Both are possible. We won't know in advance. Looking at the H4, we still do have a bear hidden here. We have this WXY X2 with a bear hidden. This is still possible that this falls over and breaks that low before it gives that either internal C up or goes up and breaks the top, like I explained on the daily. So we are getting bearish divergence in here now. There was a buy on this on Friday. There's a buy in here to buy this. We're looking at this as a flat here. There's a little buy set up in there. I mean, it's like I've mentioned in the past couple of weekly outlooks. You know, if you're buying this flat, you know, you have to be careful when this top gets broken, because as soon as this top gets broken, it can fall over with that bear hidden, that possible bear hidden. So really now, you'd be going down onto the lower time frames and looking for some sort of a WXY X2, a Z up, or an A, B, C. If you're not in this, well, I would be leaving it alone if you're not already in this. AU on the daily. So this has become more complex as well. We got this nice impulse up. We got 3 down in here. I was expecting it to get up to this 100 fib for a correction before we get more downside. This whole piece in here is very corrective. So if this low here gets broken in this wave here, well, that means we've got a larger correction in here and we get an A, B, C before we get that larger C up. Really only looking for buys. You know, we'll start to get bullish divergence even when this breaks that low. So I'm pretty much just looking for buys. I mean, you know, there was this flat here last week we were looking at. We got some sort of like a WXY X2, and we're getting a Z down in here on the H4. So there was a little trade in there to take this down. Risky because you know, this will be giving bullish divergence, as you can see on the day on the H1. We're getting a lot of bullish divergence now. So there was a little flag in there. It's like I said, it's more of a scalp. You know, if you took this, you definitely want to be at break even, because this can turn around at any time. So yeah, really now I would be, like I said, I'm more interested in looking for a buy. I'm more interested in only looking for buys, and I wouldn't be taking any sell setups. So I would be waiting for some sort of a, you know, wait for this to finish this wave here, look for an impulse correction, and then I'd be looking for upside. EU on the daily. This is quite complex as well, and like DXY can become more complex. This may be an A, B, C here, and then we get an A, B, C as the larger flat before we get the A, B, C. You know, as I've got it labelled here, A, B, C, this one here never got anywhere near that trend line or the 100 fib. So, you know, we have to start to look at different structures that it could be. And like I just mentioned, an A, B, C, and then we get an A, B, C for the larger running or expanding flat, and then we get another larger C up. On the H4, nothing's changed since last week. There is still that possible bullish hidden divergence in here. So it's definitely not out of the question that we do get another one up. This is looking very bearish in here, especially when we go down to the H1. You can see what's happened here with this news. We got the A, B, C in here, bounced off that 100 fib. There was a sell set up here on Friday, which we went through over in the room, like all the other pairs. So really, if you're not in this now, you have to be extremely careful because, again, we're getting all that bullish divergence. If you're not in this at break even, I wouldn't be trying to scalp flags and that down here. I mean, you could, depending on your risk and all the rest of it, but we're not going to go into that. GU on the daily. Again, this is very, this one did give us a C up. We got that A, B, and I was looking for that extended wave C in here. We got a like W, X, Y, possible X2. We may get a Z up here before we get more downside. The H4, we did have, like I've mentioned over the last few weekly outlooks, this low here hasn't broken this low here yet, so there still is that possible bull hidden. So it's definitely not out of the question that we do go up and break that top. This here is looking very bearish though, so the chances of the bull hidden playing out become slim. This is very similar to the EU on the H1. We've got that A, B, C falling over. We're getting a correction in here, so you could look to sell this more as a scalp, but this one may fall over a lot further due to where it is in the market. You know, we've got that A, B, C on the daily. It's bounced off that trend line, so you know this has a higher probability of giving you at least a 50% retrace of this move here than, you know, say EU. Looking at the structure and the price action. NU on the daily is very similar to AU. This one has come down and broken this low. So if I just zoom in, so I'm looking for an A, a B, and a C. Again, I'm not really interested in any buys. I'm more interested in sorry, I'm not interested in sells. I'm more interested in the buy. This is going to be the larger impulse, this C up here. And this is the one that I don't want to miss. I don't mind if I miss any little trades down here. This is the one that I don't want to miss. H4, the bear hidden, the bull hidden on this one. We did have a bull hidden there for a possible Z up. Again, this one has broken this low here, so it's invalidated that bull hidden and it's gone down. Again, like the rest, they had this little flat in here on Friday, you know, to sell. If you're not in, excuse me, if you're not in that, I would be staying out of it because when you're trading down the lows here, you really need to get in on the first entry, not, you know, trade flags and that on the lower time frames. if you are doing that, you can by all means do that, but they become risky, in my opinion. GY on the daily. This one's broken the top here. So we're still in this wave Y. I have taken the fibs off here, but we got a WX. We're in an extended wave Y, and then I'll be looking for an X2 and then a Z up. Internally here, I was looking at a WXY, X2 and a Z up in here to finish off this wave Y. Before we get the larger correction, X2 and then a Z up. Again, there was a there was a sell scalp in here for the A, B, C. We're only looking for buys. We got that higher high here. We got the correction. So any buy setup you get, we were looking for the buy. Now we are getting bearish divergence in here by the look of that. So again, if you're trading it on the lower time frames, you'll have to take that into consideration, that we are starting to get bearish divergence. We can see that it's running out of steam here. You know, I wouldn't be looking for the buys. If you were looking for a buy, you'd be looking for some sort of an A, B, C, some sort of a flat, and then a buy setup. Scalping buys, I would be more interested in a nice impulse down and a sell setup. But yeah, we'll see what the market gives us. UY on the daily. So this is playing out pretty much how I've been looking at it for, ever since we got this wave up here. Then we got this A, always been looking at this as a B wave. We finally got that C down in here to finish off the B, and now we're getting that C up. It can get up to that, that should be 100 pip there. That's a 78.6. I think they're around the same area anyway. But, we're looking for this up to 100 pip. And then it possibly can fall over, or this can go up and break that top, which I haven't really gone through over in YouTube. H4, we're starting to get bearish divergence, so it becomes risky. Yeah, I mean, you're really only scalping up here. If you're buying, buying these little flags and that, you're scalping. As soon as it breaks the top, you're at break even, and 9 times out of 10 they just come down, take you out, and they go again, and they just keep on going up like this, very slow until it gets to that 100 pip, and it either breaks through that 100 pip or finds resistance at that 100 pip and falls over. So yeah, really, there's not much on this. The UY, you're just scalping, and at this stage, you're just scalping buys until this ends, and you get a nice impulse down and a sell setup. Well, then you could start looking for the sells. But at this stage, there is no sell setups on it. Looking at the CAD, I'll go over this one more time. We're looking for a correction a similar size to this over here in the X2. The time factor has played out, so looking for that WXY, X2 and a possible Z up to the 123.6 and the 161.8 for that wave Z. There also is this other scenario, if I go down to the H4, where I was looking for this A, B, C in here, this A, B, and a C up to that 100 pip. That 100 pip's been broken now. So really, if you get a sell set up, you can look for it, but you have to be very careful, because on the daily, this is an X2, so it can go up and break the top. So we'll have to see what happens in here. But I'm more interested in a buy. I mean, they're probably, you probably get a scalp sell. You may get some sort of WXY, X2, Z down on the lower time frames in here, and then you may get a buy setup. If you get a buy setup in here, this is the one I wouldn't want to miss, because it can give you that, you know, this may be your first opportunity to get into the wave Z on the daily. This was quite hard to get in on this trade, as I explained last week. You know, this was quite a large correction before we got like WXY. If I just get rid of all my drawing tools, we get a WXY. We can get an X2 in here and a Z up to finish off this wave C, or it keeps on going and then we get a larger correction and then it goes for the wave Z on the daily. Looking at the Swissy, we got this like A, B, C. Hadn't got to the fib line or the 100 fib, not the trend line or the 100 fib yet. Only looking for buys. We got all this bullish divergence, so only been looking for buys for a very long time. This one's on the, shouldn't be showing on this time frame. So I'm only looking for buys. We got this nice nice impulse up. We've got a B wave and we're looking for a C, at least up to that 100 fib. Looks like I've got it drawn on the H1 chart, but we got the 5 down on the H4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, giving us the bullish divergence. We got a nice impulse up, correction in here. Don't miss this. If you get any buy set up on the lower time frames, look for the buy. First targeting that 100 fib. Your second target will be that 161.8. EG on the daily. Nothing's changed on this on the daily. We're looking for that A, B, C, and like I mentioned last week, we're looking for a W, X, Y, X2, and a possible Z down as an extended wave C over here. Yeah, this is looking bearish. We got a nice impulse up here, impulse down. We got like 3 up in here. So if you get an A, B, C, you could scalp this C down. And then you may get like an A, B, C as the larger correction, before you get another one down for that wave Z on the daily. We're looking for that larger correction to give us that internal wave Z down. So mainly this is basically just scalping, you know, looking for sells, and I should go down to the H1. It may be bullish. Yeah, so you got to go down to the lower time frames as well, because here we have a possible bull hidden. So this may be like an A, B, C. Then you get an A, B, C before you get an A, B, C. So again, you know, if you got a buy set up, you could test it for a flat, looking at this as a flat. Or if you got the sell set up, you know, you could look for the sell as well, like I showed on the H4. A little bit more downside to finish off the correction. Looking at WTI on the daily. So we got that WXY, larger A, B, C, and then we get like an A. My pen just went, but we got an A, B, C in here. This was the end down here, and we got all that bullish divergence. We're only looking for the buy. This turned out to be a larger correction. If you follow me for a while, you would have seen, you know, what I was looking for in here. I was looking for an A, B, C up to the 100 fib. That didn't work, and we got another lower low. Turns out it was quite complex, and this was quite deep. There were a few trade setups to the buys in this to get this wave. Well, I was pretty much just looking for an A, B, C. It's turned motive, and so now I'd be looking for that X2 and a Z up. Looking at the H1, we got this flat in here for this up here. It's starting to get bearish divergence. This is looking bearish in here. You definitely could look to sell this. You'd have to go down onto the lower time frames. You're getting a little correction in here. You could look for at least an A, B, C. It may fall over on you and give you a larger correction. But wherever this 100 pip is, A, B, C, I'd definitely be looking to take half off because it may give you more upside. You're really only scalping the upside, and you'd be selling into a larger correction. Gold on the daily. This has become very tricky, extremely tricky. We got this A. I was looking at an A, B, C in here. We get an A, B, C. That doesn't look like it's going to play out. So I'll probably have to go and have a look at different structures in here. But I was looking for that A, B, C, and then this one to give us another high, at least breaking that top, and then get an A, B, C, before we got the larger flat, and then the A, B, C. This can be over on the weekly. We have broken the tops, and we do have bearish divergence. This is still looking rather bullish in here. This is a problem. It's very deep, so it becomes very risky to trade. We got this nice impulse up in here. This is extremely choppy, so I'm looking at this as some sort of a B wave. It may come down and break that low, give you another impulse up as a running or expanding flat before it gives you more downside. That sort of way I'm looking at it now. So, you know, if you got any buy setup, you could look for the scalp for the C up. And then you'd be looking for a sell setup to go and at least break that low. Looking at silver. So this has come deep. We got that nice impulse up, and this has come very deep. So it's very similar to gold. If I just go down to the lower time frame, you can see that this is this bull hidden, the possible bull hidden, which we rolled out a while ago, because this is a lot larger correction than what this is, the X1. But we did have that bull hidden there, a possible bull hidden to give us that Z up. That's pretty much out of the question now. And like gold, you know, I'm looking at this because this is so choppy. I'm more looking at this as a B wave, and we get an A, B, C as a running or expanding flat, or maybe a regular flat if this low doesn't get broken, and then more than likely more downside. Bitcoin on the daily. So this correction here is playing out pretty much how I've been looking at it. We got that 1, 2, 3 in here, and then we got that A, B with an extended wave C. In here we got that W, X, Y, X to Z up. Didn't quite get to the targets of wave Z. But yeah, it broke that top, and we have the bearish divergence, so it becomes risky to buy, like I've been mentioning. This still is rather bullish. I mean, this whole whatever's happening in here is still looking bullish to this here, this impulse up here. So it looks like some sort of an A, B, C. We got a bounce off the 100 pip here on the lower time frames, and we may be getting another sell in here. So we get some sort of an A, B, C in here, get the retracement of this move here, this impulse here, and then we get a C up. Possibly up to those daily targets, the 123.6 and the 161.8. I don't think it's ready to go we got that A, B, C, bounced off the 100 fib. So it's more bearish, but yeah, it's not really giving much of a bearish setup, unfortunately. Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's giving more of a bullish setup now. On the lower time frames, you'd be getting some sort of a bullish setup in here for, some sort of an A, B, C, some sort of a flat, and then you could look for a sell to go and break the low, and then you'd be looking for buys. After this low is broken, you'd be looking for buys. S&P 500. So this has bounced clean off that 123.6. We've got that WXY, looking for this X2 and then a Z up. I'll take these off. These were targets from when I put out a trade over here on TradingView for that wave C up. That was the first target. 161.8 is the second target. We're looking for this correction here, like I was mentioning last week. Actually, I'll put a fib on here where we are looking to sell down to, give us a target. I'll get rid of this one. That bounced off the 123.6. So we'd be looking for a sell down to this 38.2 and possibly the 50 fib. So I'm looking for that WXY, X2, and then a Z up. So if you're scalping the sell, which you can, it may be quite choppy, but I'd be targeting that 38.2 to start off with. Not sure if there's any sell setups on it. Well, there was during the news. We had that like A, B, C in here, the flat, and then you got the A, B, C. So yeah, if you're trading this pair, you pretty much know what you're doing anyway. On the lower time frames, because this is quite a big move of the S&P. All the indices are. Looking at AU 200. Like I mentioned on this, I've had to change my count. I was looking for an A, B, C up to that 100 fib. We had this nice impulse up here, but then we had this large correction. So like I said last week, I'm looking at an A, B, C in here, and then an A, B, C before we get the A, B, and the larger C up. So we're looking for downside. You are getting a nice setup here. Don't miss it. If you get any sell setup, you can look for a sell for at least an A, B, C. More than likely give you that larger target, the daily target, which if we just draw this fib, give you a target. And we'll just change the color. So you'd be, ideally targeting, with this sell in here, you'd be targeting this 100 fib. Then you'd be looking for an A, B, and a C. Looking at the FTSE, I was looking for that A, B, C up. We got a C up. I would have liked a little bit more and just to go and break that top for a regular flat. Instead, this is looking like a contracting flat. And we get an A, B, C. This may be all of the wave C up, internal C up. It's looking very bearish, like AU 200 in here. So very similar, if you got a little sell set up in here, you'd be looking for at least an A, B, C, get it to break even, and then see what happens in here. You may get a buy set up for another upside, or it falls over on you. Looking at the DAX on the daily. This one's been testing our patience for a very long time. I've been looking for sells for a very long time. We've got all that bearish divergence, so I haven't been interested in buys. There's been a few buy scalps and that, but on the daily, I'm just looking for the sells. We're looking for sell setups for an A, B, C. At least to come down and break that low, ideally. More than likely, you can only sell this. You can only sell this if we look at the H1. Got that bearish divergence. And I was just looking for a correction in here, another one down. This is becoming quite choppy in here. You sort of got like one. I'd be looking for some sort of a correction in here, and if you get a sell set up after you get a correction, you could look for the sell. I think like the FTSE and the AU, they look a lot better structures to trade than this DAX. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share, subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.